Okay, so let's get started. So hello everyone, welcome to the episode of Connecting with Mayor Dr Peter Gangemi. This is episode number F50, and for those who haven't met me before, my name is Sam Lee, and I'm the founder of Canadian Confidence, and I'll be the interviewer interviewing Peter. So how you been, Mayor Peter Gangemi?
I'm very good, Sam.
Sounds good. So yeah, what did you do over the weekend?
Every weekend's very busy when you're the mayor of the council. So I met with some. I was busy catching up with some council work, some emails on Saturday. On Saturday afternoon, the family and I we went to the park to have a play. Both my kids are under 2 years old, so that was good fun. And then on Sunday, we met with some. I met with some residents on a bush track down in Castle Hill. So that was good. We had a bit of a chat about the future of that area. And then yesterday afternoon, I went to the kite flying festival at Castle Hill Showground. And so around the 14th, 15th of January, there's a number of Indian festivals that they're different names depending on what province of India you're from, but most of them are agricultural harvest festivals marking winter going into spring. So we had thousands of people down there at Castle Hill Showground flying kites for that. And it was probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest event I'd ever seen at Castle Hill Showground. So huge attendance for that. So a very busy weekend as always.
So sounds like you're very active over the weekend.
Yeah, each weekend. Typically most weekends, my weekend, I'm just out at different community events, whether it's a Progress Association event or a Rotary event or a sports team event. But I try and get out to, typically a lot of community events are either at night or on weekends because most people are sort of working 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So I guess I'm the opposite, where if I get a few hours off during the week, I'll be fortunate, but generally I'll be out and about in the community all weekend.
So like every weekend you need to do your duties, that kind of stuff?
I don't consider it a duty. It's an absolute privilege to be the mayor of this council. I feel like I've got the best job in the world, but usually like a typical week, I probably spend 65 hours a week being the mayor. Out 5 nights a week. My schedule is pretty packed. Like if I get half a day off a week, it'll be during the week. That'll be probably as quiet as it gets, but I'll be out most weekends. I think it's important for the mayor to be attending as many events as possible and connecting with the community as much as possible, and that's what I aim to do.
That's cool. So it's really about getting yourself out there more, right? As a mayor.
It is, but equally, obviously, we want to get things done. So my goal is we want the Shire to be as family friendly as possible. We believe that this is the best area in the world to live, and we want to remain that way and get even better. So by connecting with community groups as much as possible and attending as many events. When I'm at these events, people typically come up to me and say, "Oh, Mr. Mayor, why haven't we looked at this?" Or "We need to be doing more of this," or whatever it is. And so a lot of the great ideas that council gets and implements comes directly from the community. So by getting out there as much as possible, I think it really helps the council.
Okay, cool. Sounds great. So how about your holidays? What did you do during Christmas and New Year's? Anything spectacular?
Yeah, so typically in the council calendar, between say the 20th of December and 20th of January, it's meant to be the quietest part of the year for council. You might be able to get a week or two away, but and then the rest of the year is like a 100-meter sprint for the full marathon. And I've run 10 marathons, so I can say that. But this year, I think coming into the state election, the state government had a few announcements. So there was a few issues which over this summer period caught the community's attention. So it's been a little bit busier this year than usual, but that's a good thing in terms of were able to use this time where maybe some other people weren't in the office, but we were able to meet with some community groups and get some things done. So that was quite productive.
Okay, sounds good. And yeah, tell me about what's your passion and hobbies. Yeah, Mayor Peter.
Yeah, as I sort of mentioned previously, I spend 65 hours a week on the mayoralty, and that's like going to events, working on our big term, long-term initiatives that we're trying to deliver for the community, responding to emails and phone calls. Social media takes up a lot of time as well. And then aside from that, I've got a wife and 2 young kids. Both the kids are under 2, so I try and each morning look after the 2 kids for a few hours before sort of starting my day. But so between council life, which is very busy, and then family life, which is also very busy for us, having 2 young kids, I don't have a lot of time spare, but what time we do have spare, we try to spend as a family. So things like taking the kids to a park or going discovering a new walk in the hills. I like that sort of thing. But other than that, I love to either watch the news or sport. So yeah, if I'm I don't know, if I'm helping around the house doing some ironing or a bit of council work, there might be some sport on in the background. As with a lot of Australians, it seems like it's a national pastime watching sport.
Sounds good. And what's your favorite sport?
Probably 2 of them. So I like Formula 1 and I like American football as well. So Formula 1's in the off season at the moment, and American football, they've got the playoffs at the moment. So when one's off, the other one's on. So that works well.
That's cool. Juggling it, that's pretty good. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, second question is, tell me a little bit about your journey of becoming mayor. Like, what's your motive behind it, and yeah, why do you decide to do like to join like a local government, that kind of thing?
Well, my motivation simply is even from a young age, I was instilled. My parents instilled in me that it's important to help others and help our local community, which have given us so much. So that's really been my driving force from when I was very young. So when I was young, I was a scout, and we did a lot of volunteering in the community as a scout, did a lot of environmental initiatives. I was on the Hills Relay for Life committee for many years, and we raised a lot of money and to help fight back against cancer in the local area. I was on the Hills Youth Committee here at council before I was on council, and I was very young. And I was the chair of the Hills Youth Committee, and then I was elected the Hills Youth Ambassador. And as a youth ambassador, I got to sort of travel around the Shire, give speeches at events, volunteer at local events. Also got to learn about council's processes and provide input into provide my input into what policies would help youth in the Shire. So that sort of getting involved in volunteering and starting to sort of be familiar with some of council's processes that happened before the 2012 election, and coming into the 2012 election, there were a lot of community people, members, who thought you've got a bit of an interest in council and been active in the community volunteering, so you should put your hand up for council. So that's how I sort of came onto council, and my motivation's been always very simple. I'm here to serve the community and to help as many people as I can.
Okay, cool. That's very motivational. And I guess, are you the youngest mayor out there at the moment?
Well, when I was elected to council, I was 26 years old. I'm 37 now, and I'm the youngest councillor ever elected to our council, and our council's been going over 100 years. I'm the second youngest mayor ever elected as the mayor to the council. The previous mayor to me was 4 years younger than me. But I was elected at 36. So, but typically I think it's good as a council, we have a range of ages on our council. We've got some people who Our youngest councillor is 30 years old. So the last two, this is my third term on council. The previous 2 terms on council, I've been the youngest councillor on the council, but now we've got Councillor Brace is 30 years old, so she's the youngest, and we've got a really good mix of people in our council. We've got 6 females out of 12 from our ward councillors. Councillor Bonham's a mother of 9 children. Councillor Brazier has 4 children under 4. So we've got a real mix of people, and then of course we've got people, and then we've got like Councillor Burton and Councillor Ellis as well, who are in their 70s. So we've got a very diverse council, quite representative of the community we have here in the Hills.
Sounds good. And how does it feel to be the youngest mayor in your council?
I think personally, I don't really think about it. I just think about how we can best help the community. So that's what takes up my time, is that being on council for a long time, and I've developed a wide range of community network, and so I get usually at least 10 calls a day, over 100 emails a day from the community residents asking us for look, we need to look at these roads, or this in this particular new release area, or this development concerns us, or we need this park upgraded, or here's an event that would be really good to do. So that's the sort of stuff that I think of, and my personal view is whether you're young or old, male or female, born in Australia or from another country, if you're the most capable person for the job, then you're qualified to do the job. So even though when I was elected to council, I was the youngest councillor ever elected to this council, I'm the second longest serving councillor on this council now, because this is my 3rd term on council. Got it fairly. Most of our councillors, this is only their 1st term on council. So despite my age, I'm actually fairly experienced on here, and so that I believe has given me a solid background to become the mayor, and we're working as hard as we can to deliver for the community as much as possible.
Nice, very well said. And would you ever like go further up, as in become like a federal government, part of the federal government or anything like that? Or
I've already got the best job in the world here as the mayor, and we've got the best shire here, so I'm very, very happy here as the mayor of the council. Like our council boundaries goes from the M2 in the south to Wiseman's Ferry in the north, and open spaces, great parks, great schools, very generous community here. So yeah, it's an absolute privilege to serve as the mayor, and I'm so lucky to have the best job in the world already.
Sounds good. It's good that you're liking it. That's what matters the most. Yeah. So how about so you're a doctor as well. So did you say you did a PhD in mechanical engineering?
Yeah, that's right. So I did an undergrad in mechanical engineering at UNSW, and in my final year, I did an undergrad thesis specialised in acoustics and vibration, and got a high distinction for that. And so my undergrad supervisor encouraged me to kick on to do a PhD, and so I did that again, PhD in mechanical engineering in acoustics and vibration. And so submarines was sort of my topic area, was in that, and without boring people too much, I was looking at analytical and computational models of submarines and how we can make them quieter. And so I think it's easier to just describe it that way to people. But and then after I finished my PhD, I went on to work in acoustic consulting for 7 years, and I did back end of my PhD and the start of my acoustic consulting career while on council. And now I've been elected as the mayor for about 13 months now. So as the mayor, I now do this full time.
So before you had a job, like say in acoustics, that kind of stuff. So so that's I was very curious about your background, like in terms of like say like what did you do, what kind of work you did before you become a mayor, that kind of thing. So it's always good to check your background out and how you get into a mayor. So but your name sounds really good, mayor and doctor. That's fully qualified. That's very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So cool. So the third question is, yeah, how do you get people to like you? How do you build better relationships with people? Because what I do is I help people to improve on their social skills. So I'm pretty sure, like, you being the mayor, you must have a good social skills. What's your intake behind that, and what's some advice that you can win people?
Thanks, Sam. And we both attended the India Club presentation in December, and you gave a fantastic presentation with some really good tips for people. So I do hope people listening do check out all the information that you provide and take up your services. But as the mayor, personally, I just try and focus on working as hard as possible and trying to make the right decisions and deliver for the community to the best of my ability. And I think if you do the job as well as possible, people will support you. If you try and sort of go out of your way to just make decisions that you think are likable or not, or you just try and do things that you think will make you likable or not, I think you become unstuck. So I don't really focus on the politics side of it too much. I just focus on trying to do the best job possible. And I think in the long run that pays dividends for everyone in the community. But for me personally, in terms of some tips for people, I've got how to sort of connect with people. I think being polite and respectful to others is important. That's something that my parents instilled in me from a very young age. I think dedicating a lot of time to get to know people, whether it's at events, just making sure you just stay that little bit longer in that conversation, or going to more events to network, to broaden your horizons. I think remembering people's names and stories when they tell you information, if you can remember that, and then later on when you might meet them in, I don't know, a week or 6 months or 2 years, if you can remember that impresses people. I think if you help others as well wherever you can, that helps you connect and get along better with others, and following up with people afterwards. So when you go to these networking events, if people give you a business card, just send them a quick note afterwards to just say, look, hey, it's great to meet you, and let me know if I can assist or something. So they're probably some of the principles that I try to follow when connecting with others.
Very well said. So that's why you're here today, right? Like, I met you in the Indian club, and then I asked you to become a podcast, and like, with respect.
That's how it works.
That's very true. That's very good. Very well done. So yeah, in terms of the Indian club, how did you, like, did Shapa approach you, or how did it go? Like, how did you become a speaker over there, and that kind of stuff?
Well, the Indian club has been going for a number of years here in the Hills, and we're so lucky in the Hills that we've got a significant and growing multicultural population. So now 42% of our council is born overseas. And more people who live in the Hills are born in India than any other country in the world, apart from Australia. So 6.6% of our residents are born in India. So we've got a significant Indian community with a lot of Indian groups here in the Hills, either solely based in the Hills or do a lot of good work in the Hills, like the Indian Cultural Association, the Indian Club, the Council of Indian Australians, many other groups as well. So I've known Shuba and Akshaya for a few years, and when I became the mayor, straight away they invited me to attend their events, and I attend every single one of their snack and chats, which I can. And so, and then whenever I attend, they usually ask me to speak, sometimes without notice, and to say, look, Mr. Mayor, can we have an update in this? But I try and come up with some useful information and stories to, at the Indie Club events, I typically try and provide an update to the members about an initiative that council's doing, which they'll find very interesting.
Interesting. And were you born here, Peter?
I was. So I've lived in Box Hill almost my whole life. So there's a suburb in the Hills which was acreage up until about 5 years ago, and now it's a new release area. So it's being subdivided, but my wife and I live there with our young kids, and in one of the new estates, and very, very proud. And I've got a family history here in the Hills. My grandfather was the first one that moved here into the Hills, and so they've been in the hills a long time. So yeah, it's the best place in the world. And we like to say there's two types of people. There's people who live in the hills and people who will live in the hills, because once you're here, you don't leave. You love it.
Sounds good. Very good. Yeah, and so 2023, any exciting plans coming up for you?
There's a lot of there's always a lot of initiatives as a council. I think our top priorities as a council, from a policy perspective, I'd say sort of there's lots of little things, but our two major priorities, big picture, are our roads. So the last 3 years we've had a lot of rain. It's our third consecutive La Nina at the moment, with a lot of flooding. So fixing up our roads to our usual standard, and this is a problem that all councils across New South Wales are facing. So that's probably a big picture item we're trying to address as a council. Another one is our new release areas, so areas like North Kellyville, Balmoral Road, Box Hill. Again, this issue affects all across the state as well, where a lot of houses have been built, but just under the way the contribution plan model goes, not all the infrastructure is there immediately to match. So we're spending a lot of time delivering those sports fields, parks, the road and intersection upgrades that the community are looking for. In the shorter term here as a council, we've got some major events coming up. So next week is Australia Day. So we've got a huge main Australia Day event at Bella Vista Farm planned, and we've got Kate Sobrano, we've got Jellybean Jam, we've got a number of acts there, Bluey for the kids as well. We've got fireworks, food stalls. It'll be a really great day out. So there's always plenty of things happening in the hills, and if people follow either myself on social media or the council, or look on our website, then they'll be able to get this information.
Sounds good. Very well said. And the second last question is the Hills Shire. So what are the suburbs that's included in the Hills Council?
Yeah, we've got over 20 suburbs in the hills. So it goes from like the M2 in the south to Wiseman's Ferry in the north. So we've got a little bit of Winston Hills in there, Borkham Hills. There's a little patch of North Rocks just north of the M2 there. We've got West Pennant Hills below Castle Hill Road. Castle Hill, nearly all of Castle Hills in the hills. Bella Vista. Beaumont Hills, Kellyville. Rouse Hill, Annan Grove, Dural, Glenhaven, Kenthurst, Box Hill, Nelson, Moralia, and then going north to the rural areas, Dural, Middle Dural, Sackville North, Leetsvale, Lower Portland, Glenorrey, Maroota, and Wiseman's Ferry. So I think I literally named every single suburb in the hills. I've been asked that question before, so but we're very lucky in the hills in our area, because we've got, as I said, wide open spaces. There's properties that are hundreds of acres in the north of the Shire, and they've got beautiful views over Maroota Ridge and of the White and the Hawkesbury River. Hawkesbury River is a great asset where people enjoy water sports, and it's a beautiful day out there, a beautiful place to have a picnic. Then in the Shire, we've got great schools, great churches, great community groups, and then great bushland area. A lot of residents have great gardens, hence we're the Garden Shire. And then obviously, if you live in West Pennant Hills, you can be in the city in 25 minutes. So if you're in Wiseman's Ferry, you feel like you're in a country town, and it's a great place to escape, or a great place to live. But equally, you can be very close to the action as well. So we've got a very diverse Shire, as I said, a significant and growing multicultural community as well. And it really is the best place in the world to live.
Sounds good. Wow, you must be very busy going to all these different suburbs, like in the hills.
Oh, absolutely. And as I said, it's important to me that I attend as many events as possible and go to as many things as I can. And even just before, as an example, just before Christmas, all the local schools invited me to their school presentations, and Maroota Public School is our smallest school in the hills. They've only got 26 students, so they've only got two classes. So they've got Kinder year 1 and year 2 in one class, and then year 3, 4, 5, and 6 combined in the second class.
Okay.
And I was able to attend their presentation and award the Hills Shire Citizenship Award to Lucy Rare, who was one of their year 5 students.
Wow, great job. Great initiatives that you do. Yeah, really cool. So yeah, last question is basically, how do the viewers today get to know, follow you and know more about you? Are you on social media? Are you on Facebook, LinkedIn, etc.? Let the viewers know how they can connect with you.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. So I've got a Mayor Dr Peter Gangemi Facebook page. I've got an Instagram page, and I've got a LinkedIn page as well. So if residents search for me in there, you'll find me, and I accept all invitations that come my way to connect. If people want information, and on those social media platforms, I'm obviously trying to post as much as I can information about what the initiatives that council's doing, what we're trying to deliver, information about upcoming events and the events that we're attending, so people can see very clearly what we're trying to do as a shire and the goals that we're pursuing. We've also got a lot of information as a council that people can pursue from other channels as well. So as I said, at community events, I attend as much as I can, so residents can easily come up to me at any community event and ask me a question about council, and I'm happy to give my time and answer those questions. Residents can go into our libraries or our front desk at the administration building at council to ask for information. They're able to call council staff if they've got a specialist inquiry. They can look at council's website or council social media channels. Council also has a Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and they've got a Twitter. I don't have a Twitter, but council does. So there's a number of ways that people can find out information about council, and obviously I've got a mobile and an email as well. So if all else fails, residents are able to contact me directly, and I can point them in the right direction.
Cool, very well said. So yeah, thanks, Mayor Dr Peter Gangemi, for your time. Appreciate your time with me today. And yeah, viewers, you know how to connect with Mayor Dr Peter Gangemi. Follow him. He's a great guy, very humble person, and yeah, it's very high profile person as well. So yeah, viewers know how to connect with him. And yeah, Mayor Dr Peter, I had a great time with you. Thanks for joining in today, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.
Thanks so much, Sam. It was a lot of fun. Look forward to seeing you at a future India Club event very soon.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Let me just stop.